Meanwhile, another controversy has been brewing today in Chandigarh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was on a 4-hour visit to the city and the city was brought to a standstill. All government and private schools were closed down for the day. Crematoriums were turned into parking lots. Traffic snarls, ban on parking of vehicles in various markets on the VVIP route and diversion of traffic added to the hardship. Meanwhile, Section 144 was also imposed. Opposition leaders were kept under house arrest. Citizens seethed with anger, forcing the Prime Minister to tweet his regrets. He said, and I quote him now, "The inconvenience caused to citizens in Chandigarh, especially the shutting of schools due to my visit, is regretted. It was totally avoidable. An inquiry will be held and responsibility will be fixed for the inconvenience caused to the people of Chandigarh." So should an entire city be shut down simply because the Prime Minister visits it? Is this VVIP culture at its worst? That's what's happened in Chandigarh today. Pawan Kumar Bansal, senior Congress leader, former MP from Chandigarh, joining me, and also joining me is Sambit Patra, the national spokesperson of the BJP. I know, Mr. Patra, that the Prime Minister has apologized for the inconvenience caused, but let's be honest, the Prime Minister must have known from his officials what was happening. The morning papers in Chandigarh had blazing headlines. All schools closed, examinations rescheduled, Section 144 imposed, some politicians kept under house arrest. Is this the manner in which a prime ministerial visit is to be organized?
First and foremost, I would like to apologize to the war hero, Devendra Singh ji, who had to cremate his son in a far-off place just because of the inconvenience caused because of Prime Minister's visit. We all agree to the fact that no inconvenience should be caused to the people, and sensitive Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, today, in fact, regretted that all this was caused. Having said this, I say that all...
No, he's regretting it, but who do you blame? My point is, yes, it's good that the Prime Minister has regretted it. But I want to know, are you giving us an assurance it won't happen again? Are you giving me an assurance that the Prime Minister was not aware of the manner in which the entire city had been locked down? Isn't it a completely flawed approach on the part of the Prime Minister's office and the Union Territory Administration of Chandigarh, which comes directly under the centre?
Let me tell you, the Prime Minister himself has said that an inquiry would be set in, responsibility would be fixed, and anyone who was responsible for this, definitely the heads would roll. And that's the reason as to why I would say, who am I to say this when the Prime Minister himself has given the assurance? Secondly, definitely when the Prime Minister says that responsibility will be fixed and an inquiry has been established, only means that this would be extrapolated in the future to see to it that the inconvenience caused to the common people because of the Prime Minister's visit would be minimized.
You know, the point, Pawan Bansal, I know that you are claiming that you were kept under house arrest, but we are also told that the Congress had planned protests across the city. And therefore, the UT administration thought it advisable to impose Section 144. Now, there are security questions also in a sensitive area when the Prime Minister goes. So, Mr. Bansal, when the Congress today calls it a mini emergency, surely you are trying to exaggerate also the situation.
Let me first say that we had planned a very disciplined protest at only one point. There were 4 alternative routes which were actually chalked out to be followed by the Prime Minister. Any one route could be picked up by the administration at the last moment, and even if we were to gather at one point, that wouldn't have really mattered. And what really happened is, our meeting was not a secret meeting. We held an open meeting, and we decided there that our people would go to the Kisan Bhavan and only demonstrate there at one place. At the night, at the midnight yesterday, there was a crackdown all over, and people were picked up from their houses. If the male member could not be found, the houses were searched. The houses were searched in the absence of a search warrant.
But this
at one place,
but this has been done by the UT administration. This has been done by the Chandigarh UT administration. Why blame Prime Minister? Can we blame Prime Minister Modi? Can we blame Prime Minister Modi for the action of the UT administration?
The entire state apparatus was put into service only for the meeting of the Prime Minister. The rally was actually a BJP rally. It was not an official public function because the president of the BJP from Delhi had been camping here for the last 3 days to oversee the program.
Are you therefore saying, Mr. Bansal, are you saying the administration of Chandigarh arrested people on the behest of the Prime Minister's office, on the behest of the BJP? Is that a direct allegation you are making?
No,
Do you have evidence of that? Do you have any evidence of that?
I have not even hinted. I have not even hinted at that. I am saying there have been Prime Ministers visiting this place earlier. No, I haven't. What we said is that all the democratic norms have been thrown to winds. That's what we said.
Okay.
And I want to emphasize on this point that the Prime Ministers have been visiting Chandigarh in the past. The presidents have visited Chandigarh in the past. Never did we see a situation like this. You are already aware of
let me bring in Sambit Patra on that.
Mr. Patra has...
Sir, just a minute. Let me bring in Mr. Patra, because let's be clear, Mr. Bansal, it's true that when Congress chief ministers, and I just have a case of Mr. Siddaramaiah not too long ago, when he was a nightmare for Bengaluru's motorists, and so have been other VVIPs. But respond to that, Sambit Patra. This casts a shadow on the manner that the Prime Minister claims, I want to stay away from VVIP culture, and yet wherever he goes increasingly, we find the VVIP culture on show. And it almost seems it's now become mandatory for school children to attend the Prime Minister's speech.
Number one, I mean, I could not hear the Congress spokesperson, Mr. Pawanji's statement for just a second, sir. I could not hear him for most of the time, excepting for his last 2 sentences, in which he was saying that never before this has happened in Chandigarh, to which I would reply statistically by providing him with the detail that in 2009, when Manmohan Singh ji was the Prime Minister, and when he had visited PGI Chandigarh, particularly the hospital where Mr. Modi was there today, in fact, a person died, a kidney patient died because he could not reach the hospital. It was blocked by the cavalcade of the Prime Minister. Then it is on record, you can go and check. So definitely saying that nothing of this sort has happened previously is absolutely
that
wrong.
Doesn't justify
Secondly,
what
say that
doesn't justify, because it happened then.
Yes.
And certainly it didn't happen on the scale as today.
I agree.
It didn't happen on the scale as today. Schools were closed, exams rescheduled because the Prime Minister comes there. I have to take an alternative route to a crematorium.
You never decide this thing.
Let me, my God, you have asked me a question and look how Mr. Pawan Bansal jumps into it.
Yes, go ahead, Sambit, and then a final word from you, Pawan
Bansal. First and foremost, Rajdeep, you are absolutely right. I mean, this is no excuse that this should be repeating itself. But my question is, those who live in glass houses should not throw stones at others. But when you say that Prime Minister Narendra Modi wants to shun VIP culture, yet why do we see VIP culture wherever he visits, whichever city he visits? This is absolutely wrong. He's an ordinary man, and that's the reason as to why the Congress is perturbed and disturbed. As far as wherever he visits, there needs to be a security arrangement, because he's one of the Prime
I understand security arrangement. Why should schools be closed?
We all know. Who
security arrangement, I understand. Why should schools be closed?
I agree. Even the Prime Minister agreed to it as to why the school should be closed, and that is the reason as to why.
Because there is pressure on the administration to bring the school children to perform and attend the Prime Minister's meetings. That's what's happening. It's in Chandigarh today, it will happen somewhere else tomorrow.
Not at all. Not at all. The school children ask the school children today who the Prime Minister is, and they will take a pride to say Mr. Modi is the Prime Minister.
Okay.
Probably they would not even remember Manmohan Singh.
Okay.
With all due respect, I say this.
Okay. As you said at the start, though, there was the inconvenience which has been caused to people to the extent where a war hero had to go outside the city to cremate his dead son, and you've apologized for that, which is a good sign. But Pawan Bansal, let's be clear. What is said by Sambit Patra is true. On this issue of VVIP culture, no one can take the moral high ground. You've ruled the country more than the BJP. You perfected the art of the VVIP culture. So you can't throw stones only at Prime Minister Modi. The Congress started it. The BJP is taking it forward. What's different between Manmohan Singh and Narendra Modi?
Now let me point out the difference.
Yes.
Dr. Manmohan Singh did not order any inquiry into the matter. He straightway passed on instructions that this must never happen again ever. That was the instructions, and which should actually have been known by all the concerned officers. And what I want to emphasize with all the humility at my command is that you don't compare these things by the number of deaths caused or not caused. This is a very insensitive way of looking at the matter. The PGI, The Prime Minister went there, stayed there for much longer time than the Prime Minister did today. He gave only 9 awards to the people and spoke for half an hour, and then he left the place. And the OPD was shut down there in the PGI. That was not done earlier. So please don't compare the things. I know that one death had taken place that time, but then immediate action was taken in the matter to pass on instructions for the future.
Well, all I can say,
were passed on for the future.
I can say, Pavan Bansal, Sambit Patra.
Really, no, now let me please, please let me make my point.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. All these teachers were asked to go to the rally today, at a very thinly addressed rally. Well, that's not our concern. The Prime Minister said that he adopts the dreams of the people for himself. And today, the people of Chandigarh saw to it, I mean, they actually suffered it, that their dreams had turned sour today because of the visit of the Prime Minister.
Let's leave it there. Pavan Bansal, you had your say.
Senior dignitaries.
Pavan Bansal, you had your say. Sambit Patra, you had your say. Let me say, and I think I say this on behalf of all citizens across all cities. What happened in Chandigarh today must happen in no other city of the country. Yes, the Prime Minister must get full security, but it should not be at the cost of some basic inconveniences. I think we all agree on that basic principle. Sambit Patra, Pavan Kumar Bansal, appreciate your joining us on our second face-off tonight.